Welcome, everybody, to our second boxing card memorabilia live from several different cities, two different coasts, and down south in Florida. Um, Here tonight, we have some familiar faces, but we also have Eddy from Cardboard Chaos. Next to him is George, Concrete Buddy. We have Picker Jim S. and Jay, Average Vintage Collector. This, pardon?
I think it was
Yeah,
just an echo.
vintage collector. Sorry. This episode, we're going to each go around and show or do like a biography of a certain boxer. Maybe not a full biography, maybe 5, 10 minutes, or however long somebody wants to go. And then we'll show some pickups at the end, and then whatever else anybody wants to talk about after that. So we'll start off. We can start off with Eddy.
Hey, oh boy, first right out of the gate. So first off, thanks for adding me to this group, Scott. I kind of forced my way in. I saw the initial live that you did and found out about it, and I'm like, I need to be in this group. I love boxing. I love vintage boxing, pre-war boxing, all boxing, and I just kind of insisted my way into the group. So thanks for adding me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you asked nicely. We know you're a good guy. So.
Good. And even when we're not planning on the lives and stuff, and we're sharing pickups in the text group, it's a lot of fun. So one thing, and we'll probably share later, I think we had planned on sharing kind of what our plans and goals are for this year. I'll talk more about that, but boxing is going to be a huge part of this year for me. So my player spotlight, I'm going to do my little bio, and I'm going to talk about one of the great bouts of all time, and then I'm going to show my card. So my player is Joe Jeanette, and he was one of the great black boxers from the early 20th century. And he learned very quickly that he could make more money with his fists on the street than he could in a factory. You can make more in 20 minutes on the street than you can in a month in a factory. Your career path is kind of picked for you, and it's true of a lot of young black men from that time. Because boxing didn't really have like a governing body, that was really the only way a young black man could make a lot of money. It was the only vehicle that they had to make a lot of money. And by 1908, there was sort of a four-headed monster of great heavyweight black boxers. So there was Joe Jeanette, Jack Johnson, who we're all familiar with, Sam McVeigh, and Sam Langford. And we all know eventually Jack Johnson got a shot at the white title, if you want to call it that, and he did Tommy Burns. And what that did was that created a vacancy in the colored title. And what it also did was it got black boxers like McVeigh, Langford, and Jeanette really excited because now, hey, we can have our shot. The only problem was Johnson really liked being the champion and the black champion, and he wanted to be the only black champion. It also helped him market himself because white supremacists wanted to see a white boxer take the title back from Johnson. So it was kind of a drawing card. So it worked on a lot of levels for Johnson not to fight other black boxers, especially if they were really good. He didn't have to worry about being beat, and he can make more money by fighting white boxers who wanted to be, white people wanted to see him be beat, if that makes sense. I'm going down a rabbit hole here. But so what could have been this great like Jackie Robinson moment ended up not so much. So they had to continue to fight each other. And what they found was boxing was a novelty, or sorry, black boxers, African American boxers were novelty overseas. So a lot of these guys went overseas to fight. And I wrote the date down. In February of 2009, Sam McVay and Joe Jeanette went to Paris to fight for the title that was vacated by Johnson. This is the colored title. And McVay prevailed in that match. But they made so much money because they just loved him over there. They agreed to fight again in April, but this time, no referee, no rounds, no agreement on rounds. Whoever, box until you can't box anymore, or someone's knocked out, knocked down, can't fight anymore. So no time limit, nothing. And it was crazy. Jeanette was knocked down hard in the first round. He was actually knocked down 21 times in the first 17 round. And then eventually he kind of channeled his inner Rocky and started fighting back on McVay. And they just exchanged knockdown after knockdown. And then McVay was knocked down 19 times and eventually couldn't even see. And then finally, McVay couldn't answer the bell for the 50th round. So that was quite a match. So that gave Jeanette the black title, or the colored title, which he held for 507 days. He eventually lost it to Sam Lankford. He went on to fight. He actually fought. All these boxers fought each other many times and exchanged the heavyweight title many times. And there's a great Wikipedia page on it, and you can see how long they held the title. I think Lankford had it way more than anybody else. But these were all great boxers, and it's cool to be able to talk about them. After his boxing career, now, Joe Jeanette and Jack Johnson actually had some parallels. They both married white women. Unlike Jack Johnson, who did it sort of to flaunt and show off and irritate white people, Joe Jeanette married a white woman, had kids, had grandkids, stayed married the rest of his life. Lived a long life. After his retirement, he ran a cab company and did some coaching, boxing management, and lived into his late 60s or early 70s, I think, and was just known to be a cool guy. So I do have a couple cards here. I'm going to take my notes off so I can see what you see. This is the only modern card here, so don't be too spooked. This I got off eBay a long time ago. I don't know what it is. I don't remember what the description is. On the front, it says, turn over and spot the winner. And it says Joe Jeanette, number 50 in the series of 100. And then I'll show you the back in a minute. There's some characters, and it says yellow, pink, and blue. And then it wants you to hold it under, and you're supposed to pick one mentally. And then it wants you to hold it under ultraviolet light to reveal which one is the winner. And I don't have an ultraviolet light, but I don't remember where I got it, what I paid for it. But I basically am like a Joe Jeanette super collector because I love the story of the 49 rounds. And by the way, there's a great mini documentary. It's like 22 minutes on YouTube. It's free. Just put in Joe Jeanette, look for something that's 20 minutes and something like the toughest match ever fought or something. And it basically, the notes I just read you are from that. So if you want a prettier version with the video and everything, this is a Cohen Wienan's Company cigarette card. And the front looks great. I don't know the year on this. They're all around 1910, give or take. Unfortunately, I know George has one that looks a lot better than this. Show off. All right, George. This is a 1910 T225 Serberg cigarettes, Arab cigarettes. And this pose you see on all sorts of Jeanette stuff. It's on this card. It's on his Turkey Red, which I need. It's on the next two things I show you. It's on his exhibits, which I need. Here's the back of the Arabs. Little paper loss there. How long did I go? It felt like 45 minutes. Here's the T218, and then there's the basically the top half of that same photo. It's the art version. And I have a lot of T218s, but I love this one. This is the Mecca. There's also a Hassan. Oh, and also the same photo for T219 as this. This is my favorite to date, and the last one I'm going to show you right now. This is also a T218, and you wouldn't know it from the flip, but this is actually a pretty scarce error card that wasn't really discovered until 2018. If you go into oldcardboard.com and search Joe Jeanette, you'll see the article. But someone didn't this card wasn't discovered until recently, this error. And it's not mentioned on the flip. And it's not obvious from the front. Unless you know right here. Wait a minute. What have I done? Oh, yeah. On the back, there's only one in Jeanette, and there's supposed to be two. So, what's strange is even though the error is recognized, there's not really they don't put it on the flips and everything. So anyway, it's pretty hard to get, and it was listed at something like $300. And it's one of those situations where I'm like, I'm not paying that for it. But I watched it, and I think the person just wanted to see what would happen. And so he dropped it $50 every day until it got to 100, and then I snatched it up. And I've only seen, and this is 3 years ago, I've only seen a couple since then, and it's one of my favorite cards. So finally someone else's turn.
Great job, Eddie.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
You have an awesome,
Water here.
you have an awesome Jeanette collection.
Oh, thanks.
I have a friend, he pronounces it Janetti, so I've been saying Janetti, but now I know how to say it.
Yeah. From what I've heard, most common is Jeanette, but I never met him. I never met the guy.
Anybody have any questions on Jeanette or comments?
Great card story. 50 rounds is unbelievable.
Yeah. I will add, I would love to get a Sam McVeigh piece as sort of a compliment to that story, but I just can't find the right thing at the right time. So that's something that will be a goal at some point.
Would you like to go next, George?
Sure. Just kind of almost going to piggyback right after Eddie with Joe Jeanette, and the person I want to highlight is Sam Langford, and that's the T218 of Sam Langford. He was one of, like Eddie was saying, he was one of these the basically, I guess, the big four of the black boxes of the era, and he was known as the greatest fighter that almost nobody knew, and that was ESPN called him that. He was born in Canada. He went to Boston when he was basically he went from Nova Scotia to Boston because he had an abusive father. So he took off when he was a teenager and just said, enough of this. And basically he learned that, fighting was a better way to make money. Like Eddy said, he was known as the Boston Bone Crusher and the Boston Terror. And here's the other name he was known as was the Boston Tar Baby, which is, very, a cruel way to call it. But anyway, he fought everything from a lightweight to heavyweight. His record was about 210, 43, and 53 draws. Ring Magazine considers him the number 2 greatest puncher of all time. He never got a chance to fight for the world title because he was black. That's just the way it was back then. He did fight Jack Johnson once before Johnson became the heavyweight champion. Johnson beat him on points in a 15-round match, but the problem was, Johnson was 29 pounds heavier than Jeanette, so that might have had something to do with it. Piggybacking against Eddy again, he had he fought Joe Jeanette 14 times, and he was 8-2 and 4 draws against Jeanette. And basically, they fought each other, him and Sam McPhee and other boxers, other black boxers. They fought each other a lot because that was just a way to make money. And people would pay because they used to had great matches. He was just an awesome fighter. He fought until 1926. He started about 1902 to box and fought until 1926 when his eyesight started to fade. Basically, he would wind up going blind. It's terrible to say, but basically, he punched his lights out until he couldn't see anymore. In 1944, a newspaper writer found him in penniless in New York and wrote an article about him and started a fund for collecting for him. And basically, they raised money, and the sports writers raised money for him, and he was able to get a successful eye surgery, and then he was able to live the rest of his life, somewhat comfortably, not wealthy, but far from being penniless. He wound up going to the Boxing Hall of Fame in 1955, and then he died a year later in 1956. Like I was saying, this is my T218 of Sam Langford, and I just think that's a great pose. And I love these T218s because they kind of give you a synopsis of the boxer in the back and some of his important matches up to that time. So, really the only other one I have here is I have this Sam Langford. It's an exhibit card of Sam Langford. And these are these early exhibit cards, I want to say from 1921, 22. Scott might know better about these. But I love these because they give a bio of the fighter on the back. rather than the later exhibits, which basically are blank backs. So I always look for these which have a bio on the back.
Well, that's pretty cool, George.
And that's unfortunate. I'd love to get some more Sam Langfords, and I'm always on the hunt for him, but he's just an awesome fighter, and just wanted to spotlight. I mean, he's one of those fighters that people just don't seem to know about because he never won a title. He was the colored heavyweight title holder. He became that when Jack Johnson beat Jim Jeffries to become the regular heavyweight champion, and so he vacated. Jack Johnson vacated the colored heavyweight title, but he never got to fight for a world title, and that's kind of a shame that he never. A fighter so good as that was never really given a shot, and that's basically my highlight of Sam Langford. So
that's pretty cool. I love that exhibit card. Now I got to go look for one.
Yeah, I wrote down here exhibit Langford because I was thinking the same thing. So George, can I jump in and add something?
Sure.
So yeah, of course, a lot of time, we're talking about the same era, boxers that faced each other.
Oh yeah.
And so I still had open in this other window the lineal, the colored title Wikipedia page, and so it shows who had it and then the days they had it. So Langford had the black belt, let's call it, 5 times. And then here's the duration. Okay. So first time he had it for 476 days. Then he had it for 753 days. Then he had it for 403 days. Then he had it for 349 days. Then he had it for 347 days.
Yeah.
So you're looking at a pretty accomplished boxer. And it's a shame that his life ended that way. I'm sorry to hear about that. But man, what a bad mamma jamma.
Those two T218s are incredible with the color. I mean, just the
colors
and the images are just incredible.
Yeah, that's the one I have of him. I have that T218.
Well, by the way, Eddie, if you won't be upset at me, I just there's your coach in that exhibit, and the one with the info.
One. I'm happy for you, my friend. I'm happy. All right.
Not a recent pickup. I got this a long time ago, to be honest with you. Sometimes you can actually find these exhibits at a steal. I'll just say that. It's just.
Yeah, I've seen them. They're out there. It's just it's the timing thing for me. But
yeah.
Okay. Anything else before we go on to the next person? Jay, are you ready to go?
Sure. All right. So I'm going to talk about Kid Berg. Kid Berg was born Judah Bergman. He went by Jackie, but everybody called him Kid because he was a kid. He actually was a real womanizer, and he was always chasing women. And early on in his life, and I'm talking early teen years, he ended up getting into some trouble chasing somebody that he probably shouldn't have. And he ended up fighting that person and really just beat the brakes off of him. And someone saw it and said, wow, that kid can fight. And they ended up asking him if he was interested in boxing. He had no formal training whatsoever. So in his early years, he was a completely raw fighter and didn't really get much training until he actually got into the ring and started fighting. And so the thing with Kid Berg is that he turned pro 3 weeks shy of his 15th birthday, which is incredible to me. And he was small. He was 5'9", 140 pounds. And his strategy was just a nonstop attack. From the minute the round started, it was an all-out assault, and he could do that every single round, no matter how many times it went. So he just simply overwhelmed his opponents. They called him the Whitechapel Whirlwind. He fought in London's East End, and he was really successful early on in his career there. But because of his age, I think, which I would have thought would have made it a big story, and people would have really would have wrote about him in the newspaper. He just wasn't getting attention, and he was fighting some established fighters at the time, but again, they just didn't really pay him any attention. So after really not getting too much respect in England, he moved to the United States. He moved to New York City, and when he came to New York City and started fighting, he was embraced by the United States and embraced by the New York City population. They loved this guy, kid, right? So he moves to the U.S. in 1928. In his first fight, he fought Billy Petrol, which Stu, you had showed something earlier, I think, in our little text there.
Billy Petroli.
Yeah, Petroli. So he fought Billy Petroli in his first fight in the U.S., and they fought to a draw. They had a rematch, and he lost to Billy Petroli. He was TKO'd in the fifth round. So it started to people weren't really buying into the hype after that. They were like, well, he got a draw the first time, he lost the second time, but he did put on a good fight. So following that, he fought 10 current or past champ. Well, I'm sorry. In his career, he fought 10 current or past champs in his career, and he won 5 of those 10. After the loss to Petroli, the next year, he fought Mushy Callahan, who was the junior welterweight champion at the time, but it was a non-title fight. And he won. He beat Mushy Callahan. Then he fought Tony Canzoneri, who was a very established boxer at that point in time, and he won in a decision. After the win, promoters matched him to fight Mushy Callahan again, but they wanted this time the fight to be for the title. And so Berg ends up scoring a 10th round knockout and wins the title. He held that title. He had 6 straight defenses and won them, kept the belt. He went ahead and ended up fighting Kid Chocolate, who was another young boxer, successful boxer. Kid Chocolate, they did fight, but the title was not up for grabs at that point in time. He did win in that fight. Prior to beating Kid Chocolate in that fight, Kid Chocolate had won 160 straight fights without a loss, which is crazy to me. That's a lot. That's a long time being undefeated. And Kid Chocolate later on went on to win the featherweight belt and the junior lightweight title. Berg in 1930 was considered the best pound for pound fighter in the world. So he starts looking to fight some other people. There's a lot of people that are shying away from him because he has just been really manhandling people with that nonstop attack in the ring. He challenged a couple of former champs in Sammy Mandel and Al Singer, and both declined to fight him. So they were really struggling to find someone that would fight him. And eventually Tony Canzoneri, who he had won against previously, decided that he would do a rematch against Kid Berg. They went ahead and had the rematch. Canzoneri at the time was the lightweight champion. And the lightweight title and the junior welterweight title were both on the line. But Kid Berg was knocked out in the 4th round. They did have a rematch 5 months after that, which is pretty quick for a fight. These days, I don't think that would ever happen. But they had a rematch 5 months later. Berg lost again. And it took him a little while to recover from that. He's just kind of like his fame was starting to fade a little bit. But in 1934, he fought Harry Misler, and he knocked him out for the win and scored the British lightweight title. So he was back fighting in England. His time in the U.S. had kind of faded a little bit. He fought up until 1945. The problem with him is that his career would, find some momentum, and then all of a sudden it would stall out, and then find some momentum again, and then stall out. And that was kind of pretty much how things went for him, because what he was finding out was he could no longer do that nonstop attack. He just could not fight straight through the rounds like he was early on in his career. During his career, he had 192 bouts. He won 157 of them, lost 26, and had 9 draws. He was elected into the Boxing Hall of Fame in 1994. Post-fighting career, which ended pretty much in 1945, World War II was winding down, but he ended up joining the Royal Air Force in England, and he served as a boxing instructor for some of the troops. After the war, he actually, for the next 30 years, became a stuntman and appeared in a whole bunch of movies doing that for the next 30 years. So that is Kid Berg. I have one card to show. This is the 1936 Gallagher Sporting Personalities, and there is Kid Berg. I love this card. I love this set. The set has some really good, it's multi-sport, but it has a lot of really good images. I like the colors on them. I mean, I just, the background on the front with the spectators in the back, I really dig that. But that is Kid Berg.
Really nice color on that.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, that's great. 3 great bios so far. Hey, Jim, you ready to go?
I'm all ready. Yep.
Yeah, sorry, you're
All right, cool. So first of all, this has been great, talking to you guys about this boxing. Every time we talk about this stuff, I go jump over to eBay and start looking for but,
area.
yeah, no. So, Joe Jeanette and Ray Langford and Kid Berg, like Joe Jeanette and Ray Langford, being a boxing fan, I had known a little bit about those guys. Kid Berg, I wasn't familiar with at all. So that was great to hear about him. The guy I'm going to go with is Henry Armstrong. And Henry Armstrong was kind of the next generation of great fighters after Jeanette and Langford. He came up in the 30s and into the 40s, but he had 183 total fights. And out of the 183 fights, he had 151 wins and 22 losses and 10 draws. That's kind of crazy. Like in those days, it wasn't like modern day where, guys would avoid other fighters. Like these guys, they just fought all comers. You know what I mean? They wouldn't refuse to fight someone because of who their promoter was, or, they didn't line up puff fights just to try and get, the big payday, build up their record for a big payday. These guys just fought all fighters. And, Armstrong, he fought, I think, 46 fights from January 1937 to January 19th. So basically in 2 years, 37 to 39, he fought 46 fights, which is kind of crazy to think about that. Like these guys were fighting every week, you know what I mean? So anyway, the thing about Henry Armstrong is he is the only fighter in history to simultaneously hold 3 world championships at the same time in 3 different divisions. He was the featherweight champion, the lightweight champion, and the welterweight champion all at the same time. And he's the only one who's ever done that. I think there was one other guy who was a 3-time champion, but not at the same time. And Armstrong actually could have had a chance to hold four titles at the same time. he actually fought for the world middleweight championship, which was actually kind of a controversial fight, and it ended in a 10 round draw. And it was controversial because the referee deducted several points off of Armstrong's scorecard because, in the referee's opinion, he said Armstrong gave several low blows or something like that. But it was very controversial. And Bert Sugar, who's a very famous boxing commentator, he said, most commentators at the time thought that Armstrong actually deserved the decision in that fight. But at any rate, he didn't get it. But Armstrong was kind of a very physical fighter. He would fight, he would use his whole body, his head, his shoulders, his arms, kind of similar to like Joe Frazier or Roberto Duran, if you're familiar with those kind of styles. And he was almost like a bull. Like when the round would start, he would just like rush his opponent, and just an overall great fighter. And so I basically just I have only 2 cards of Armstrong, actually 1 really, this is my favorite boxing card. So that's one of the reasons why I picked him. But anyway, BoxRec has him ranked as the 12th greatest pound for pound fighter of all time. And boxing coach and commentator Teddy Atlas considers Armstrong to be the greatest fighter of all time. And Bert Sugar ranked him the 2nd greatest fighter of all time. And ESPN has him ranked as the 3rd greatest fighter of all time. So he's in pretty good company there. Anyway, here is my 1938 Churchman's Henry Armstrong. And I just love this card, man. Just an awesome pose there. Nice smile on his face. Got the championship belt on. And this is one of my favorite, if not my favorite card of Armstrong. And then I also have a sportcaster card, Henry Armstrong. In his later years, actually became a Baptist minister, I believe, later on after his retirement. So anyway, that's all I got.
That's great, Jim. You still see a lot of boxing cards with big smiling faces, and you got 2 of the same guy.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yep.
Sorry, guys. I was trying to get Orlando's photo that he sent me.
Oh, I saw that in the comment with Kid Chocolate.
Yeah.
That's great stuff.
That's pretty awesome.
Now I'm trying to get everybody back.
Well, there you are.
Yep. Anybody have anything to add for Jim or any questions?
No, I can't believe I was not familiar with him. That's
well, that's good. It'll give you something to research now.
yeah.
Yeah.
What weight class was he? What?
He was featherweight, lightweight, and welterweight champions all at the same time.
Whew.
And he also fought in middleweight as well. Like I said, where he fought for the championship, but it ended up being a draw.
Right on.
There's so much
Wow.
history when you start looking into these boxers.
Oh, I love it. So much fun learning about these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I got us back up. Still learning a few tricks Sorry about that, Orlando. I wanted to get your picture up there. It's pretty cool. So it's up to me now.
Yeah.
And my boxer has been talked about already by Jay, Billy Petroli. He's William Michael Billy Petroli. nicknamed the Fargo Express, is actually born in Pennsylvania. And then he moved to Minnesota, and he ended up in Dilworth, Minnesota, but he boxed out of Fargo. Even though he never lived in North Dakota, they still called him the Fargo Express. And he only boxed out of North Dakota for 2 years. He's ranked as the 18th best lightweight of all time by Boxing Rec. Are you guys familiar with Boxing Rec? It's a place you can
Yes,
go.
sir.
It's a place you can go and find all the boxing records of all of the boxers all time, and you get an official win or loss if they can find, like a newspaper article about it and make it official. Yeah, he had 89 wins, 21 losses officially. I've seen where he's had boxed, maybe had 160 matches where he won. He had two brothers that boxed, Frank and Pete Petroli. I think Frank Petroli and Billy Petroli both fought Tony Canzaneri. The first title fight that Billy Petroli had was against Jack Kid Berg, who Jay talked about, and he lost it. It was for the NBA and the ring light welterweight titles, and he lost that fight. The next time he had a chance at the boxing title was 1932. He lost to Tony Canzaneri. He had beaten him earlier. He had draws with him. It's just a matter of meeting up with a guy. And this is when Canzaneri was probably at his prime, 1932. This was for the NYSAC. I assume that's New York State something. The NBA and the ring lightweight titles. And he had it was interesting that he had some pretty good stable mates. There was a pretty big name trainer that was based out of Fargo, but he moved to Duluth with Billy Petroli, and the other boxers followed. And that's kind of where he set up camp for the rest of his life. He had made $200,000 in boxing, and then he had a steel iron foundry up there, right up in the Iron Range, yeah. And he later owned a religious goods and gift shop in Duluth. And he also was on the board of directors of the Pioneer National Bank. And what I have for Billy, I can tie in with everybody tonight. There's Billy Petroli on Boxing and Wrestling Magazine, 1932. If I look inside, there's an article on Langford and Jeanette.
Wow. That's cool stuff.
And there's some other great articles in here too. 10 cents, 15 in Canada in 1932. And I believe this is a 1927 exhibit card because it's a green tint. And it's also blank back. And I just like saying that name, Billy Petroli. It kind of rolls off your tongue.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of who he reminds me of on that exhibits card. He reminds me of somebody. Jack Dempsey, maybe? I don't know. Who does he look like?
A movie star.
Yeah, he does kind of. Maybe it's the greased hair or something. But
That's the only card I've ever seen of him.
Yeah, cool stuff.
It's pretty
So-
amazing that like most of the cards or the people that we had all had somehow, connection, but
Yeah.
Scott brought a
Yeah.
full circle at the end.
Well, I'll tie in with
Yeah.
Jim when we show our pickups on this next time around.
Nice.
So, do you have any pickups to show, Eddie?
I do. I have not opened my pickup, and I didn't even think it was going to arrive for this. I thought I was going to have to say, I don't have any pickups, but we'll do it live.
Premiere.
You know what that reference is? We'll do it live. So you guys know what that is?
Mm-mm.
All right. It's an old clip from oh shoot, I don't even remember his name. Bill O'Reilly. When he was with like Inside Edition or something. There's a clip of him like trying to pre-record something, and he kept getting like irritated at the teleprompter person, and he basically like swears at him, and he says, "We'll do it live, F it," and he screams at him. Okay, it's in a cardboard, and I reuse these, so I'm really excited. I got cardboard sandwich. Live reveal. Okay, the front. Shocker of the century. It's a Joe Jeanette card.
Cool.
This is a Will's cigarette. And two really nice Jeanettes that I didn't have came up at the same time. I threw $75 at each of them. And I won this one. I lost the other one. And the winning bid on the other one was exactly $75. And I can't figure out how that works. I used Gixxin. I'm wondering if maybe the other person used Gixxin and they bid $75 and somehow it went through. I don't know, but I'm happy to get this one. Very cool Will's cigarettes. And
That's
nice. I don't have anything with this pose with like the front, the left hook. And it's unique for my Jeanette collection. And on the back here, it says best performance beats Sam McVeigh in 49 rounds in Paris, April 17th, 1909. You probably can't see it because I don't have a great camera, but it's the bottom line there. Oh, it focused. There it is. And I'm really, really pumped about this. Very clean.
That's awesome. It looks
That's
brand new.
Very,
Yeah, I love that.
very yeah, I mean yeah. I love boxing cards.
That was a great reveal.
Thanks.
George, I know you're always picking stuff up.
got a basically a flea market find here, and this is two Rocky Marciano postcards, and they're from the 50s.
They
And,
really look nice.
This one here is from Sunnyhurst Dairy, who sponsored his training camp for a while. And then this is also the Holland Furnace Company, who also sponsored his training camp. And yeah, I was just in a flea market looking through a bunch of postcards, and I found both of these, and the backs of these are like immaculate too.
That's awesome.
And you never know what you're going to get, Life is like a box of chocolates. I also got this one fairly recently too. It's an exhibit card, and it's a training headquarters for Jack Dempsey. And you see Jack Dempsey there in the middle. And
Does it say which fight?
no, it doesn't. It says training headquarters in Atlantic City.
Okay.
And the
Not Sydney, Montana, then.
yeah, Exhibit Supply Company, Chicago, made in USA.
Oh, awesome.
So
Very cool.
and had those, but also I had a couple of others that I just got back from grading. I might as well just annoy you with those. And this is the Joe Jeanette that I got back from grading. It's the
all right.
1912 Conan Ween.
All right, George, I love you. All right. No, like I said, I'm happy for you.
Well, it's like if you keep hunting, you find these for a song. Like this, I gotten a lot, to be honest with you. And it was just like,
no, they're out there, of course.
Oh yeah.
If I prioritized getting one with a back, I would have one. So no problem.
And then
it's a cool card.
I think Scott and I need to talk about this guy eventually because I know he's got a battling Siki too.
Yeah.
And there's a legendary fight with him and George Carpentier. I can't say it right because it's French, but there's a whole story in that where he was supposed to throw the fight, and then somehow basically they crossed him up, and he wound up beating living snot out of Carpentier, and then the referee decided to disqualify him, and the crowd just went crazy and started throwing stuff in the crowd, and the fight I believe the fight was in Paris, and anyway this judges decided to reverse themselves and give him the title, but this was actually in the same lot with this.
Wow.
And
was that an eBay lot?
It was an eBay lot. Yeah. It was from the UK actually. Like sometimes I go on eBay UK and you'll actually find stuff that's not listed in the US eBay. It's really weird how it does that.
Good trick.
And yet they still will ship internationally.
Yeah, well, sometimes you have to ask the seller. So sometimes they won't. But and this is one last item I had here. I really like this one. It was I never really heard of this man. It's Francois Rizit. But this is a edition from Spain, and this is from 1941. It's the Editorial Valenciana, and I know I'm saying it incorrectly. And there's a little blank back, almost like sticker type cards. But the reason I got this is you don't see too many sets that came out in Europe during World War II. And he's listed on here as the champion of occupied France.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
So I just thought that was very unique. And there's like very little about this man out there. He disappeared right after World War II. I guess he was known as a collaborator, and that wouldn't have gone over too well in France. So he just kind of like dropped off the face of the earth. So, but and like I said, it was just, to me, it was unique to see a card that was printed in Europe. I mean, Spain was neutral during the war, during World War II, and it lists somebody as a champion of occupied France. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
My Siki is from Germany, and it's really not, you can't tell who it is really. Just you can tell because of the names on it on the stamp.
Yeah.
It's from 1923.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, if you want to go look at stuff on eBay UK, sometimes you'll find stuff like that. I mean, there's not going to be any baseball or football or none of the American sports, but you will find the boxing on there. So
have to try that sometime.
Yeah.
Okay, Jay, do you have any pickups?
Not boxing, no. I made a pretty big baseball purchase, my Strongsville pre-purchase. And so I will be making some boxing purchases now at Strongsville now that I have my gold card knocked out. So, and I don't have it down here with me. I didn't want to bring it to the boxing show.
No,
that was
no
a great
pressure.
card. That was a great card.
Thank you.
Yeah, no pressure. That was a great card.
Very happy to have landed it.
Yeah. Jim?
Yeah, I got some pickups. All right, cool. I'm going to start off with actually not a card, but I picked this up I think I showed you guys. Sports Illustrated, the Thriller in Manila, Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. I just thought this was awesome. And I noticed that that fight was in October of 1975. So we just recently came up on the 50-year anniversary of that fight. And I love these old magazines, man. They're really cool. 102 pages and 8 cigarette ads in there. And there's also an ad for the Pendleton sweater where it shows a guy smoking. So anyway, that's off topic. But I got that. Then I picked up this beautiful T220. Freddie Welsh. He has a very interesting story. He was actually born. His name was Frederick Thomas, but his ring name was Freddie Welsh. He was from Wales. Go figure. And his nickname was the Welsh Wizard, and he started fighting. Basically, he grew up in the ghetto, and he was fighting as a young kid on the streets for loaves of bread. And then when he went to school, he was kind of bullied, so he had to fight a lot in school. And then when he got out of school in his late teens, he wanted to make a name for himself, so he came to the United States and had a pretty successful boxing career. And I just love these cards, like Eddie was talking about the T218s and T220s earlier. And just the colors on these cards, man, that green background, just love that. And this one's got the Mecca back on it. So I got this at auction. I think I paid like 26 and change for this card, shipped with the shipping, taxes and everything. And I was looking at the auction, and the guy who was doing the auctions, like the first card you bought was like $5.50 for shipping, and then each additional card was like 75 cents for shipping. And so I started looking at some of the other auctions, and there was some like really low priced auctions ending very soon. So I ended up putting a bid on this one from the same seller, and this is Ted Kid Lewis. And I ended up winning this card for $2.25. And the shipping was 75 cents additional. So I got this card for I think $3.18 delivered with the tax. So that was pretty cool. And this guy, man, he was a great fighter. Ted Kid Lewis, his name. He was born as Gershon Mendelhoff, and he was an English Jewish descent. And he twice won the world welterweight championship. And when he was 17 years old, he was the British featherweight champion. And then 2 years later, he won the world welterweight championship. I mean, this guy is just incredible. And talk about a lot of fights. This guy fought 301 total fights in his career. He had 232 wins and 46 losses with 23 draws. And just an amazing fighter. He's often mentioned among the all-time greats. And there is another Churchman's addition to my collection. And then I got a couple of exhibits. I got a Willie Pep from down the street over here in Hartford, Connecticut. Born in Hartford, died in Rocky Hill, Connecticut, not too far from where I'm sitting right now. Guglielmo Papaleo was his name, more famously known as Willie Pep. And he was a great fighter too. He held the world featherweight championship twice, and he had 241 career fights as well. So you can see these guys back then, they just fought. And last but not least, Gene Tunney. Gene Tunney was another great fighter, heavyweight champion, undefeated, never lost a heavyweight fight. And in fact, he had 85 total fights in his career. He only lost once as a light heavyweight. 80 wins, 1 loss, and 3 draws in his career. And he defeated Jack Dempsey twice. And also, he fought a pretty famous fight with Jack Dempsey the second time. it was called the long count fight. And it was a very controversial fight because Tony actually got knocked down by Dempsey in the 7th round. And apparently Dempsey refused to go to the neutral corner or didn't stay in the neutral corner. So there was a delay in the count. And then Tony ended up getting up and ended up eventually winning the fight. But yeah, those are my pickups. Very cool. And Tony also had a very distinguished military career as well. He fought in World War I. He was the Fighting Marine. That was his nickname. He fought in World War I, and then after the war, he enlisted in the Marine Reserves, and eventually ended up becoming a major in the Marines. So that's what I got.
Thank you, Jim.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Some pickups. Does Willie Pep have a Kellogg's Pep card?
I could be. You should.
Well, this isn't a pickup, but it's something I didn't know I had. It's a 1918 Police Gazette. It's got a couple boxers pictured on the back that I never heard of, that I'm going to look up after the show. Richie Mitchell from Milwaukee, lightweight, and Charlie Ray, bantamweight from San Francisco. And I dug it out because it had a player that Jay likes, Zach Wheat.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
So
Nice.
but I did pick up 2 cards, and this is a tie with Jim, with a tie-in with Jim. Got slow fingers here. Henry Armstrong, big
There you go.
leaf card.
Nice.
Boy, is there! I'm in the Glare Club here. And it says
Probably not smiling.
Nice
and
card.
I picked up another one,
Red field on that.
Harry Forbes.
Boy, that color on that.
Gotta love those leaf cards.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I like those. If I see them, I'm gonna have to pick them up now.
There you go. I might have to pick them up now too.
Yeah.
That's the
So,
problem with doing these shows is you go broke pre-shopping on the
Sometimes you influence yourself.
Yeah.
That's it.
So, anybody got anything going on in the next while? Shows coming up or cards coming that?
No, not right now. I'm on a break now until still in
Understand.
Strongsville. Yeah.
Understand. We have a
I'm
minute.
saving up for my baseball grail card. So I'm not going to do any big moves until I have all the funds reserved for that. So you're not going to see a lot until I accomplish that, because I'm like an all or nothing kind of personality, and I'm either saving almost everything I have or I'm not. And if I'm going to be able to get my grail, I have to save. So that's what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good time. We have a 125 table show in the Twin Cities this weekend, but it's usually 120 tables of Pokemon and new cards and 5 tables of vintage.
Yeah.
So, well, with that, I'm not sure when the next one will be. We'll
get one going.
We'll see how many cards we pick up, and when everybody's ready, we'll have another one.
Start building up my inventory for next time.
Yeah, this was good. I like the spotlights. That was pretty good.
Yeah,
Like to meet with you guys right afterwards too, so don't sign off right away.
Okay. Oh, hey, before we go off the live, I wanted to paste in the chat for anyone that wanted to know more about Joe Jeanette and that 49 round match. If you paste this into YouTube search, there's like a 22-minute like mini doc that goes over it, and it's really well done. And anyway, check it out after we go off live. Joe Jeanette, the boxer who refused to quit.
Thanks, Eddie.
Cool.
Have
Yeah.
to check it out.
I'll check it out.
Sweet.
So thanks
Basically,
everybody.
what made me the super collector that I am.
Thanks everybody in chat. Thanks
Yeah.
for everybody on the panel.
Great
I
show,
learned a lot.
guys.
Learned a lot tonight.
Yeah. That was fun.
It
Yeah.
was.
That's
I'll
great.
end it here and everybody have a great weekend.
See you, everybody.
Peace.
Bye now.
Thank you.